What's up, everybody? I'm Justin Miller, owner of Legends of Athletics, and I want to talk to you guys about like the ego, and I want to talk to you guys about distraction. Most people think the more success that you get, the easier things become because that's the picture that we paint in our heads. Is that like once I get to this peak or once I hit this goal, then things are gonna get easier. And like the life lesson in that is that it just doesn't. Our ego swells in some cases. Distractions become more bountiful, so you get more distractions as you go up the ladder of success. And those distractions can come in a multitude of forms, from relationships to families to friends to vices, things like that. And then, like your ego, we always have to keep our ego in check because our ego blinds us to learning anything new. Our ego blinds us to striving to be our best selves. Our ego blinds us from trying to be our best selves. And so, like the biggest thing that I've learned in business and learned in life, and I learned with working with athletes over 10 years, is just I've seen so many athletes come through Geek Physiques to Legends of Athletics, and I've seen so many that were great, that had potential to go off and do great things, but they just weren't surrounded by the right people, or they weren't surrounded with the right mindset, or they weren't surrounded by people who push them to be greater. Mediocrity is truly excellence. That's something that Coach Jason Brown always says. Mediocrity is a new excellence, but it's very true. A lot of times I think that parents alike, friends alike, family alike, someone gets success, like high levels of success, and the first thing we do is we may say like, oh, that person's successful because um, the cards that were given. Oh, that person's successful because it was just by luck. And then when you take it and things happen by luck, that means you weren't prepared for it to start with. And then on top of the preparation, you just were not ready for you were not ready for what it took to be more successful in that space, or to sustain the level of success that you took on. And so, people just, you have to be very careful and very watchful of what you entertain, because by osmosis, whatever we're around is what we're going to assimilate to, in more cases than none. Um, I think about just like in 2024, what happened as far as like catapulting me to where I am now. And I think it was just getting a lot of things correct, a lot of things like in line, a lot of things in order. From my having a great relationship with my wife, having the right partner, and my wife, to help me be my best self, to show up as my best self, even like times where I've been like super stressed, or times where like things didn't go the exact way that I was planning. Just having a great partner is where it started with. Having a great family, my family system, like my mom, my aunt, my dad, sisters, brothers, cousins, everybody, like having a great system of people that I interact with that were always supportive in a great way. But then also just, I think the biggest thing was like just changing my circle, and then changing the things I talk about. Like in all seriousness, changing the things I talk about, changing my circle. Like when you hang around people that are movers and shakers and doers, it's gonna light a fire under you. Either you're gonna hate it or you're gonna be motivated. That's Floyd Mayweather. He say it a lot, but either you're gonna be motivated to do more to get to that level, or you're gonna hate it and run away from that level. And so I think in sport, one thing I always try to teach athletes is like, I'm not one that does a lot of stuff for Instagram. Like, I'm not gonna be the Instagram trainer. Like, we can do stuff that gets you a ton of likes, a ton of views, a ton of clicks. Shout out to Dan Lanning. Not for clicks, not for likes, rooted in substance, but in all seriousness, you can do all that stuff for social media, for clicks and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we want to be successful. We're going to continue on the road to success because we're going to do the things that are correct and the things that lead us down that path. I look back at my 20s and things I thought I was doing right then. Like I was like, they weren't right. Like no rhyme or reason, just doing stuff. But then like, I just think about my life and think about what got me to this point of where I am today. And it's just like I said, just putting things in place, putting things and getting correct on those things, and really like honing down and focusing in on the things you need to. Like, you need to look at your conversations that you're having every day. Like, ask yourself, is this getting me to where I want to go, or is it not? like, and be real about it. Don't mask it. I know sometimes we get caught up with like certain friends, certain friend groups and things like that, and we like, oh man, I just love what we're doing. I love this, that, and the third. And it's like, yeah, you can love it, but at the same time, is that helping you get to where you want to go, or is it not? This is something that I talk to a lot of my high school athletes about. It's like, you know, who you hang around, who you interact with. Man, I've seen so many athletes come through Legends of Athletics, Geek Physiques as well. That's 2014, all the way back then. And like, I've had way more athletes nobody expected nothing of that go on to be successful than the ones that they did have expectations of, because what you see is like, and being real, it's just, whenever you get a kid and a kid gets good, this is what's usually gonna happen, right? All right, when a kid gets good, kid trains, like they work their butt off, work their tail off. Like when they are not on the map, oh, I'm talking about they blow the phone up, they grind city every day, and like what you see is as the kid gets better and better, confidence begins to swell. Most times they'll take their foot off the gas and stop doing the things that made them successful to start. And so it's harder to sustain success than to become successful, believe it or not. And, they just don't have that drive and that hunger. And what you see is, they start skipping training sessions because now I'm hanging with my friends. More so I'm hanging with my girlfriend. I'm hanging with my boyfriend. I got to go do something else, Coach Miller. And then by the time you look up, season started and they're nowhere near where they were, or they're not able to retain a scholarship, or they're not able to obtain a scholarship, or they're not able to go to another level, because all the things that they did before to get to that level, they stopped doing them. And that's like life. That ain't just sports, but the ego blinds us to growing and working, because you get very satisfied. You say, okay, I did this the previous year, I got here, so I'm good. But you also have to remember, there's always somebody out there working. There's always somebody that wants your spot. There's always somebody that wants to take what you have. And so you have to be very gritty and very mindful of that. And then, like I said, just distractions. Like, there's some athletes right now, I don't put, my wife knows, it's like my energy that I put into like a lot of my athletes. Like, there's some that I'm just like, hey, let them be, let them do what they're gonna do, this, that, and the third. And then there's some where I'm like, man, I got to really say on this kid, because they got a lot to lose. And so, when it comes to the future, like I said, just being distracted, like, ask yourself, what are you doing every day? Is your girl or your guy pushing you to where you want to go, or are they pulling you from where you want to go? When you're younger, it's hard to decipher that. It's hard to, balance those things, because you say like, um, I hear you, coach, but at the same time, like, I want a relationship, and that's human nature. I don't care if what grade, high school, college, grown, that's natural. But at the same time, you really have to ask yourself that. That's where the maturity levels and things like that come in. Like, is what I'm doing helping me get to where I want to go? And you have to really ask yourself that question, then answer it like logically, and then go from there. Because everything in life, you have to take chances, and don't believe people that say like, if you work hard, good things, like, yeah, good things gonna happen. Yeah, you work hard, good things gonna happen, but it don't mean like you're gonna get what you want to get. Like, let's be real. Like, it's no guarantees. There's a bunch of people out there right now that work extremely hard at the collegiate level, and they'll never be a pro. And I'm talking about, like, they could be a pro, but they'll never be a pro. Like, just because things haven't lined up correctly. And so you have to work hard, but you have to work smart too. And then people also say, like, be consistent. And these are two things I just thought of off the top of my head, but they also say, like, be consistent. And be consistent is great, but at the same time, are you consistently working on the right things, or are you consistently working on the wrong things? Because if you're consistently going in the wrong direction, you're just getting more lost and more lost and more lost. If you're consistently going in the right direction, then you're continuing on that path. And so you have to, these are things that are hard to, they're hard to, put all together, but that's just how it goes. And so, like I said, just ego and distractions are two things that I like to talk to athletes about, and I just like to stay on them about. It's like, because I can see from season to season, I see like a lot of my kids, like these athletes I get, it's usually like I get them underclass, so I get them like really like middle school or freshmen, things like that. and then I get the chance to see them like go through puberty, and then as they grow up, like how the mind and stuff like that shifts and changes. And even like I said, going from no success to success, and then you just like looking, you like, dang man, like man, they could have been so great if they just would have kept their head on. And the reality is everybody don't do that. Everybody is not equipped for that, and so that's life. And so I just want to leave you with this last message. Out of all the rambling that I've been doing, is like, in all seriousness, is the more success you get, the more you have to stay hungry. You have to find what's going to keep you hungry, because like the more you get, you're gonna get satisfied. Like, let's be real. The same drive that drives you from sleeping on a friend's couch or being homeless to owning your first apartment or what have you is not the same drive that takes you from owning a 3-bedroom home with a family to owning a mansion. It's just not. And so before that happens, you're more than likely on a normal trajectory, you're more than likely going to lose some of that hunger and drive that got you there, unless you're just uberly, super intrinsically motivated. And so, you have to have the right people around you to keep you focused on the right thing, keep the main thing, and as always, be legendary. If you like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, tell somebody. Y'all have a good day, a good week. Enjoy yourself as much as you can within the bounds of what's necessary. So anyway, I love all y'all. Appreciate y'all. And as always, like I said, be legendary.